Thanks for being here. For the purposes of today's discussion, let's take three elemental characteristics of identity: function, ownership, and belonging, and look at these from a contact perspective. So, function. What purpose does the building serve, and to whose benefit? Ownership. Who has agency in determining the purpose, and how and whether it's being fulfilled? Belonging. How do the first two afford a sense of belonging, both for the building within its wider communities, but also for those people who are in the building, and their sense of feeling that it's theirs? One of the most often asked questions is, to what extent are those iconic castle-like towers just a design folly? In fact, they're an integral part of the heating and ventilation system, a system that's so innovative that even now, 17 years on, that building is 30% more energy efficient than equivalent buildings of use and size. Within the building, our core purpose is to create high-quality work by, for, and with young people. And you'll hear me say that a lot. It's absolutely at the core of what Contact is about. The young people are the key decision makers in that organization. I wouldn't have the post of chair of Contact if they didn't want me. The chief executive artistic director wouldn't be there if they didn't sanction his appointment. All the senior executive roles are determined in exactly that way. These are just some of the works that have been produced as a result of that kind of commitment to young people. There's a statement often made about young people and whether or not they're interested in politics. These shows demonstrate they are. Rights was a piece about female genital mutilation told through the experiences of young women, their parents, the legal profession, the caring professions. No guts, no heart, no glory, again taken from personal experiences, was about female Muslim boxers. The Spalding Suite used basketball and some amazing dance sequences to deal with young men and their sense, or lack of sense, of belonging and social cohesion. That theme of belonging is also central to one of our events and initiatives outside the building. The agency is a creative entrepreneur project enabling young people from underserved, and I really dislike that expression. I'm not sure. First and foremost, it sounds like undeserved. From underserved areas to create social initiatives based on the needs of their communities. We're currently working in Moston in North Manchester. The project is adapted from an initial idea that was first pioneered in the favelas of Rio de Janeiro. And Contact is working in partnership with Battersea Arts Centre, who are doing similarly in London. The first 2 years were funded by Colu's Gulbenkian Foundation, and we've now secured funding for the next 3 through the Big Lottery Fund. Just a week ago, those young people were in the House of Commons addressing the Culture Secretary, Ed Vaizey, and demonstrating to him and other MPs and executive leaders of major organizations what their projects are about and what they're seeking to achieve within their communities. The intention is in due course that we would roll this initiative out across all the major urban areas in the UK. So, earlier I spoke about function and purpose. And I was asking, to whose benefit? 70% of the audiences at Contact are under 35 years old. Yet he talked about the fact that Manchester is increasingly a young city. 30% are from the Black, Asian, and minority ethnic communities. And 29% are people who are described as not usually engaging with the arts sector. Those figures are diametrically different from those of most arts organizations. So when we talk about belonging, when we talk about ownership, that's what it looks like in terms of how you attract and who you attract. It's by, it's for, and it's with the young people. So it won't surprise you that when we determined that the organization needed to look at a capital transformation of the building, that we started with those young people. What might surprise you, we take the quality of the work as given. So we expect to do high quality artistic endeavor in Contact. What might surprise you, however, is that amongst the things that they wanted was increased commercial activity. They want to be engaged in leading sustainability, and that's not just financial sustainability of the organization, but also environmental sustainability. So we've already got a fairly high percentage of recycling and use of recycled materials. We're intending to increase that. And we're looking at improved accessibility in order to change even more so the diversity of those who come and are able to use the building effectively. So, inside, we're going to have a central staircase that will allow access to all the performing areas and to all the usable spaces. We'll also have a lift, by the way, that will be quicker and more efficient. The bar and cafe will be moved towards the front of the building so that you get a better sense of the activity goes on there. It'll be a more open and welcoming central area with glazing instead of the brickwork that's currently facing you when you look from Oxford Road. And the intention would be, therefore, that you get a better sense of the vibrant, inspiring set of activities and people who are engaged within Contact. We've secured £3.8 million from the Arts Council in a competitive bid. I stress that because not everybody gets that kind of money. We've now got to find, through match funding, further sums to take up what is effectively going to be a 6.5 million transformation. So I warn you now, be prepared. A request will come to someone or some organization or even you. A year ago, the Organization for Cooperation and Economic Development came to, the OECD, came to Manchester for a conference called Local Leadership for Inclusive Growth. And during a pre-event workshop with the title Rethinking Local Development, this was said: when confronting complex issues, diversity should be the default response. That statement was made by Andrew Bahrain, Chief Executive of Western Cape Economic Development Partnership in South Africa. I doubt that the irony of that answer was lost on him, since he was making it in response to a question from one of only 3 non-white people in a room in Manchester City Town Hall. When confronting complex issues, diversity should be the default response. It's very much a core of what Contact believes in terms of how it engages with young people. And that diversity is not just around the usual suspects, so to speak, of disability, race, religion, etc. It's also about intergenerational diversity. We are absolutely convinced that young people are not only capable, but are willing to be part of the major decisions. And that's part of the reason that I'm here talking about what Contact is about, because I think that in shaping the future of this city, we need to listen to and engage with our young people. When confronting complex issues, diversity should be the default response. I would commend that as something for us all to take away as part of the mantra as we look at how we build a future. Thank you.